to today's episode of Candid Kaya. Are you currently a student who aspires to become a teacher? Well, tune into this interview with Atlanta school teacher Jerrika to hear more about the Teach for America program. Stay tuned. All right. So hello, Jerrika.
Hi, Nakaya.
Thank you so much for coming on today's episode. Can you just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Okay, so my name is Jerrika Leslie. I am originally from Louisville, Kentucky, and I graduated from Spelman College in 2013. And after graduation, I joined Teach for America.
Okay. Jerrika, tell us a little bit more about what inspired you to become a teacher.
All right, so I'm a first generation college student, and I knew early on that in order to have a better life or create like a better life for myself and my future family, that I wanted to go to college. I had to go to school. I always loved school, and just learning and education, it was just a recluse for me. When I got to Spelman, I started doing a lot of mentoring at like Washington High School and Kennedy Middle School, and just interacting with these middle and high schoolers, and just they would ask like where we went to school or where we came from, and I would say like Spelman or Atlanta University Center, and they live and go to school within walking distance of the AUC, and just to encounter so many of them that had never heard of or claimed they never heard of, never saw the schools, it just was a reality to me that they didn't picture themselves there. And it was just so striking that they had so many great schools around them, but they couldn't picture themselves there. They didn't know about it. And then just doing more research, learning that only 48% of students graduate high school, and knowing that they're not going to be ready just for the workforce or even look at themselves as being college educated. And able to get careers and sustain themselves and being self-sufficient. So I was just very passionate in giving back. The whole reason I even started the mentoring was because I grew up in a low-income community, and if it wasn't for the certain teachers and the mentors at my church and other people in my community that I had to kind of nurture that potential, then there's no way I would have even been accepted to so many colleges or even made it through Spelman. With tuition being paid for and all the things of that nature. So I was like, I want to, change some of the students, change their trajectories. And that was the best way I could see getting the experience with Teach for America inside the classroom, and then advocating for education reform or going into policy and law as well.
Okay, awesome. All right, tell everyone a little bit more about what is Teach for America.
All right, so Teach for America is a program they started over 20 years ago, and they look for applicants, the people that do not have necessarily the traditional teaching background. So they seek people that are maybe business majors or political science majors, and you don't have any traditional training, but they want you to use the same leadership skills that you have built on your campus to go into the classroom and try to transform and reach kids that are in underserved schools, like an underserved population. So there'll be a Title I school. So you can see that in an urban community or a rural area as well, just like the Mississippi Delta or like somewhere urban like New York City. And they give you training. It's a 2-year program. They give you training. You're signed on as a teacher. You get a job as a teacher in the classroom. So you're responsible for grades and everything that you can think of as being a teacher. But in addition to that, because you have no traditional training, they give you an alternative certificate from your state. From the state gives you an alternate certificate. So you have to do sessions and classes with Teach for America and go through an alternative program to become a certified teacher.
Okay. So what qualities in a teacher is Teach for America looking for?
So when you're doing your application and they look at your resume, they definitely hone in on leadership skills. So they want someone that has been a leader on their campus, that has either started an organization or has been like the president, or even if you didn't start like a camp or student organization on your campus, like what have you done? If you've done community service, whether that is with mentoring or starting your own program, helping kids, they want to see how you have made an impact. So more than just, I'm the president of, I don't know, the Atlanta Club. Like, how did you impact your community being president of that club? Did you kind of lead a food drive? Did you inspire some kids? Did you help kids grow? Are you able to kind of balance a lot of different activities, because teaching is a very strenuous job, in addition to the requirements that you have to Teach for America and other things that you may have going on as well. So definitely someone that is reliable, dependable, persevering, excellent leadership and communication skills. And I will also say that, just from my own experience, you have to have someone that is compassionate and an ally, and that really understands the work that they are getting ready to get into. For instance, going into a Title I school, knowing that you're going to be teaching and be the sole, and not just teaching, because there's so many other things that go within that role as teacher. Like a parent, the kids spend more time at school than they do at home. A disciplinarian, like a social worker at times, and just knowing that it's not an easy job, but it's not always recognizable or well received, and definitely not compensated. But so you definitely have to be compassionate and have a lot of empathy and be willing to persevere just to see the end goal of seeing your kids be successful.
Who should apply for these opportunities, and what does the application process look like?
So anyone that has been interested in teaching, if you've done experience working with kids or mentoring, or even if you don't have, if you feel like you have something that you can offer the U.S. education system, the public school system, then you should definitely apply. But definitely know that it's hard work. You have to be compassionate. You have to know there's going to be long nights. You're not going to be well compensated for it, but know that in the end, it's going to be well worth it when you really see the impact that you have on your students' lives. Someone that is definitely able to be an effective communicator, because you have to communicate with not only the students when you're delivering your lessons, but also other administrators, the students' parents, and other stakeholders in the community. So someone that is basically service driven, because essentially, although we're getting paid for the service, most of the work you're not being paid for, and it's still a service that we're providing that is necessary to make sure that the future kids or future generation is able to be self-sufficient and come up with all this new technology, implement new programs. So.
Okay. And what is the application process?
The application process, I know it has changed. I applied 5 years ago. Initially when I applied, it was just some simple questions, basic questions you will find on the application process, and then a letter of intent. So it's like a 500-word essay, a personal statement as to why you wanted to join Teach for America and how you thought that you could impact, or what your impact would be. I know a few years ago they had maybe 3 different essay questions and maybe like 250 words per. I haven't looked at the recent application, but typically they hone in on your resume. A lot of times it's because they do a lot of recruiting, they're actively seeking for college students to join. They will send out campus recruiters, there's people that work for Teach for America that all their job is to recruit college students to join Teach for America. They also have campus positions, so there may be a student that is a recruiter on your campus. And so a lot of times they will host events. You can hear what it's like to be in the Teach for America Corps, and what it's like for teaching in your area, wherever it is that your school may be. They really hone in. They want to see a lot of numbers, a lot of growth and impact on your resume as well. So maybe I mentored, 200 kids, or like I helped them, or how did you help increase their reading levels or test scores, or how have you managed like a group of people? Like we really talk about honing in on leadership. So those are like the key things to look for as well.
Okay, good. All right, Jerrika, so now I want to get just a little bit more of your advice. What advice do you have for those who are currently applying for Teach for America?
So if you are currently applying, definitely, I use the term like beef up, because that's what the recruiter told me. It was like, you've done a lot of great things, so definitely beef up your resume. Include a lot of numbers, show how you have impacted the community that you're in, whether you work with kids, whether you work with your peers, in whatever leadership capacity. Also make sure you definitely have someone proofread your essay questions, because that is an easy way to get your application thrown out. Make sure that your general things when you're applying to a job. Your resume is formatted correctly, proofreading your essay, Teach for America on the application has a way that you can proofread it. Also, make sure you have great recommendation letters as well.
Okay. Okay, so what advice do you have for those who want to become a teacher but aren't sure if TFA is the right track for them?
I would say definitely do your research. TFA's been, it's probably the most well-known alternate certification program, but there are so many other programs even within specific districts or regions that you can look into. In Georgia, they have something called Georgia TAP, which is for people that didn't go to school and major in education, but then they decided that they wanted to start teaching. There's new schools, new ventures. There's so many similar programs. So definitely Google and just kind of weigh your options and see the pros and cons of each program and decide which one would be best for you. Another thing you could also do is, especially even after you have graduated, is substitute teaching to see if you really want to even be in a classroom dealing with kids.
Right, true. Good point. All right, Jerrika, last question. What advice do you have for aspiring teachers everywhere?
First of all, I just commend anyone that aspires to be a teacher. I know growing up, I never wanted to be a teacher. Even now, it's like I'm an educator, and I'm looking for the quickest exit because it is so challenging. But just don't be undaunted by the fight, or be undaunted by the fight. Just that it is hard work, it's challenging, but even if you don't see your rewards every day, you know they're going to be coming. Like, just because you're pouring so much into these children, and in the long run, you will reap the benefit of the reward.
Yeah. All right, Jerrika, I lied. I do have one more question. It's a finish my sentence. So, Miss Leslie wants her students to know
that they are fearfully and wonderfully made and capable of achieving all of their dreams.
Amen. Give it up for Miss Leslie, y'all. All right, so if you guys have any questions or comments, just leave them below and we'll make sure that they get answered. This concludes today's interview, and we thank you all so much for tuning in. We'll see you again next time.
Bye.